The decision is she goes or he goes. Who is it most efficacious for former President Trump to see who goes, her or him?
Well, she is certainly not going to go. Fani Willis is going to stay in there. I have not yet read the opinion, but I know that at least the reporting says that the defendants didn't meet their burden of showing any kind of conflict of interest. And I must say, in any case like this, where a prosecutorial misconduct is alleged, normally there has to be some showing that in some way this undermined the defendant's right to a fair trial. Evidence was withheld, it was concealed, discovery wasn't done properly. None of that happened here. So I don't see how, under any circumstance, the defendants could meet their burden here. And I also don't quite understand how legally the judge can tell the DA's office to remove one or the other. On the other hand, I think he's done the prosecution a huge favor, because by getting rid of Wade, clearing him out of the way, it sort of clears out the issue. It takes care of it. People will not be focused on him any longer, and the case will move forward just as it had done before. So even though it wasn't, in my opinion, legally required, I think he really did the prosecution a big favor here.
So you're looking at this from a legal lens, whether it was required for the case to move forward, but for the Trump side, the Trump camp, it didn't need to be effective legally. It just needed to be effective in terms of delaying the process. And in that regard, was this a success for the Trump camp?
Well, it was a success only to the extent that this whole issue has delayed this matter over, probably a month at this point, where all the attention has been directed this way. On the other hand, Judge McAfee wound up deciding all the pretrial motions the other day. He dismissed a few counts. Those will probably be put back in through a superseding indictment.
Oh, interesting.
I think this is moving along as quickly as it could under any circumstance because of what's going on with the three other cases.
Do you think the case could be tried before the 2024 election?
It is possible. It is very possible because it's all a question of how these four cases dance around each other.
Right.
We were supposed to have the DA's case come in on next Monday. It's going to be delayed a little bit. And then the question is, when is the Supreme Court going to rule on immunity? When is the judge in Florida going to rule on a trial date? So it may very well be that Fani Willis can squeeze this in August.
Nick, I'm asking for a friend. Man, I'm not, Nick. I'm asking for myself. If
Sure.
It's a blur to me, which trial should I focus on as to the future of Donald Trump? Which of the trials do I need to read about? Do I need to consider, as Scarlet says, we stagger to the first Tuesday of November?
Well, I think the one to really focus on now is the one in New York, because I think that is going to go maybe 30 days from the time that's scheduled to go on March 25th. That is likely to be the first case to go to trial. And I think what people have to realize is that this is an extremely important case. It's not just about Trump paying off a porn star. It's about a very intricate plot to try and get out there and find any negative information that might have come out before the 2016 campaign, and to use the National Enquirer to pay people off so that this information wouldn't be provided to the voting public. In a sense, it is a fraud on the voting public that helped Trump get elected in 2016. The other two cases, the one in D.C., the one in Georgia, really go to Trump trying to keep himself in office after he fraudulently won the first time by lying about the election and the fact that he said it was a rigged election, and doing what he did around January 6th. So in some ways, this is the logical case for everybody to focus on in the first instance, and it's the one case that kind of explains what happens from that point on.
Mm-hmm. That was actually really, really helpful. Thank you, Nick. Ultimately, which of these cases could do the most damage to the former president?
Any of these cases will do him a lot of damage. There's a reason why he's trying to delay these cases. The evidence in each one of these cases is very powerful and overwhelming. I would say every one of these cases is basically a slam dunk, including the one in New York. You have two accomplice witnesses, you have a tape recording of Donald Trump, and you've got lots of corroboration. All he needs to do is be convicted in any one of these cases, and he's going to be mortally wounded.